Welcome to the deep dive. We're jumping right into something incredibly layered today.
We really are. It's a fascinating one.
Yeah. We're doing a textual analysis of a single, highly compelling source. It's the transcript from a YouTube video titled NLIGHT Messages Official Audio by the channel NLIGHT.
And you know, if you spend any time analyzing music or literature, you quickly realize that sometimes the most condensed texts contain the absolute densest concentration of meaning.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And this track is just a masterclass in tone shifting. It kicks off with the undeniable braggadocio and, unshakable confidence of a classic hip-hop anthem.
But then it completely pulls the rug out from under you.
It does. It dramatically pivots into this urgent, deeply vulnerable plea for spiritual awakening wrapped inside a really sharp societal critique.
It's a wild, unpredictable ride from the first bar to the last.
And we are going to walk you through exactly how the artist engineers this massive collision between earthly ego and total divine submission.
And just a quick disclaimer before we get into the weeds here, we aren't here to argue theology or take political sides today.
Right, we're just looking at the mechanics of this track.
Exactly. We want to see exactly how the artist utilizes lyrical structure, linguistic choices, and shifting perspectives to deliver their message to you, the listener.
We're basically treating this as a piece of poetry, looking at the tension it creates, without endorsing any specific religious or political worldview.
The goal is just to unpack the art itself.
Okay, let's unpack this because the opening of this track plays a brilliant trick on the listener. It lulls you into expecting a standard, ego-driven anthem.
It really does lean completely into the classic, untouchable persona of the MC.
The opening lines hit you immediately with this wall of self-confidence. The artist states, "I've been the greatest since the day was born. It's just how I feel. Hey, when I'm rapping, I'm rating, I can't be reformed."
The audacity to claim you are the greatest, literally from the moment you took your first breath, it sets a very specific expectation.
They are establishing the armor right away, telling the audience, y'all don't know what sick is. The sickest and illest MC anyone ever made.
It's the ultimate foundational trope of the genre, but what stands out is the slick, modern update to the language.
Right, because we've heard rappers call their flow sick or ill for decades now.
Yeah, it's a staple of 90s boom-bap brag, but the artist brings it instantly into the 2020s.
Look at the line, "I'm ill when performing." It's like, I got co.
Dropping a co-reference takes an abstract concept of being a sick lyricist and grounds it in a visceral, modern reality that everyone listening has universally experienced.
It proves the artist's claim of relevance right out of the gate. They aren't relying on dusty metaphors, they are pulling from the immediate zeitgeist.
Taking that a step further, there is another line in this opening barrage that perfectly captures the modern zeitgeist.
The merch line.
Yes. The artist says, "I wear my own merch like I'm wearing a crown." I just love that they flex about wearing their own merch. It's such a distinct evolution of the hustle. We've gone from the era of artists flexing massive gold chains to being draped in luxury European fashion houses.
To the modern era, where the ultimate flex is being entirely self-contained. You don't need another brand's logo to validate you. You are the brand.
But consider the irony there. They're flexing about sovereignty and being their own boss. A crown has always been the ultimate symbol of supreme authority and dominion.
Yeah, so by comparing self-produced merchandise to a crown, they are creating a completely enclosed ecosystem of ego.
Exactly. They are the king, the kingdom, and the royal decree all wrapped into one. Historically in hip-hop, this level of braggadocio, think of the early days of Kanye West, or the competitive dominance of Kendrick Lamar, often serves as a protective shell.
It establishes dominance so the artist can command the room.
But what this artist is doing is building that towering pedestal of supreme self-importance purely so they have a high enough ledge to jump off of in the next verse.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because right after they establish this massive, impenetrable ego, the entire foundation of the song fractures.
The tone just completely turns on a dime.
Out of nowhere, the artist drops the armor and reveals the actual motivation behind all that lyrical talent. They say, "I ran for the Lord and I ain't backing down."
Suddenly, the track isn't about them anymore.
Right. All that skill, all that undeniable talent they were just crowning themselves for, it is entirely in service to a higher calling.
And they don't ease the listener into this transition at all. The imagery they use to describe this spiritual pivot is intentionally catastrophic.
They hit you with the line, "Just like Hiroshima, I blow y'all away."
Using Hiroshima isn't about glorifying violence, it's about scale. The artist is saying their spiritual awakening wasn't a quiet, gentle revelation.
It was a catastrophic event that leveled their old ego-driven worldview, leaving ground zero behind.
The truth they are trying to deliver to the listener is meant to have that same paradigm-shifting impact. It is supposed to completely obliterate your preconceived notions of what this song is and what your life should be focused on.
It's an absolute shock to the system. But right on the heels of that massive statement, there's this palpable, almost heartbreaking frustration.
Yeah, they've dropped this truth bomb, but they look around and realize people are just dancing in the fallout.
They say, I'm good with my flows and I'm good with my tongues, but sometimes I swear that y'all don't hear the message.
It reminds me of the classic Outcast Hey Ya effect.
Oh, exactly. Where the beat is so infectious that nobody realizes the lyrics are about the inevitability of relationships falling apart.
Here, the artist is dropping urgent spiritual warnings, and the crowd is just nodding to the beat. What's fascinating here is the profound sense of artistic isolation that creates.
The artist knows exactly how talented they are. They just spent the first verse proving it.
They say, message me sideways, you're gonna regret it. I spread you with truth like it's let y'all don't get it.
They have the audience's attention on an aesthetic level, but there's a complete failure of transmission on a spiritual level.
Being a conscious artist in a culture that primarily consumes music for background vibes or club energy is a lonely position. You are shouting a life or death warning, and the crowd thinks it's just a really catchy hook.
That level of frustration completely shifts their value system, which leads directly into the next section of the track. If the audience is only focused on the surface, the artist decides to completely reject the surface-level markers of success.
They explicitly state, except that I don't need the bread or the bag.
In a genre, and honestly a broader modern culture, where securing the bag is the ultimate universally agreed-upon goal, this is a radical rejection.
The hustle culture we live in demands that you monetize every waking moment, but the artist is completely opting out of that rat race.
That rejection is the logical necessity of their spiritual pivot.
If you are operating under the belief that your life is in service to a divine calling, then the endless, exhausting, hedonic treadmill of accumulating wealth becomes entirely irrelevant.
It's an active distraction.
The artist is setting up a strict dichotomy between the material pursuit and the spiritual reality. And that flows directly into their craving for authenticity over aesthetics.
They rap, hope that one day I'm defined by my action. Y'all been thinking you ain't good at acting? You